Hello students, we continue with the chapter The Blue Beet written by Nora Burke. So in our last class we had studied about Sebia, a 12-year-old skinny girl who lives in abject poverty, that how she struggles on a daily basis to survive. Now here she goes to the market, and when she goes to the market she comes across so many wonderful things, and some of the wonderful things that she sees is satin sewn with real silver thread, then tin trays from Birmingham, and a sari which had got chips of looking glass embroidered into the border. Then she joins the crowd round a Kashmiri traveling merchant who is on his way to the bungalows. And he was showing dawn colored silks that poured like cream. Then he had got a little locked box with precious stones in it like turquoises and the opals. And best of all, he had a box that when you pressed it, a bell tinkled and a yellow wooden chicken jumped out of it. So these were some of the wonders that she had never seen in her life before, and it had really amused her. And there was no end to the wonders of the world. But Sebia, in all her life from birth to death, was marked for work. Now, marked for work means that since she came from a very poor family, she was destined to slog or work hard her entire life. So she was marked for work. Since she could toddle, she had husked corn and gathered sticks and put dung to dry and cooked and weeded and carried and fetched water and cut grass for fodder. So these were the daily chores that Sebia was engaged in. So here we see girls Nora Burke. She has thorough knowledge of the villages of India and the lifestyle there, the hard life that the poor people in villages live. So we see how people like Sebia are challenged with problems from all corners, and living a life of poverty makes them work throughout the day. Okay, they toil throughout the day in cutting paper grass to merely survive. Now she was going with her mother and some other women now to get paper grass from the cliffs above the river. When you had enough of it, you could take it down by bullock cart to the railhead and sell it to the agent who would arrange for its dispatch to the paper mills. So after collecting the paper grass, they had to take it down by bullock cart to the agent, and they had to sell it to the agent. And the agent, he had to make arrangements for the dispatch to the paper mill. The women often toiled or they worked hard all day at this work, and the agent sat on silk cushions smoking a hookah. Such thoughts did not trouble Sebia. So Sebia, she was a young girl and she was quite content with her life. She never complained about the poor life that she led. However, as she skipped along with a sickle and homemade hay fork beside her mother, she could skip on the way out but not on the way back when you ached. Ache means when going time, it was quite easy for them because they were quite fresh, but coming time, after toiling the entire day, they were dead tired and their bodies used to ache with tiredness, and there was a great load to carry. So this was the daily work which Sebia and many other women of the village were engaged in. What was their work? They used to cut paper grass, collect it, sell it to the agent and return back. Now some of the women were wearing necklaces made out of lal beejas. Beejas here refers to seed. The shiny scarlet is deep red color seeds, black one ends that grew everywhere in the jungle. So these poor women, they did not have sufficient money to purchase for themselves the ornaments and all. So the ornaments were of simple seeds, the scarlet color seeds, which was black at one end, and it grew in plenty in the jungle. It was best to have new necklaces each year, and every year they used to make a new necklace, discarding the old faded ones. instead of last year's faded ones, and Sebia was... It was best to have new necklaces each year instead of last year's faded ones. And Sebia was making one too. So just like any other young girl in the village, Sebia too was preparing for herself a necklace of lal lal beads. How nice it was going to be to hear that rattling swish round her neck. And she frowsed along with lots of necklaces. So just like any other young girl, Sebia too was fond of all these ornaments, and she loved the rattling swishing sound around her neck. But each seed, hard as stone, had to be drilled with a red hot needle, and the family needle was snapped. Snap means it was broken. So she must wait till they could buy another. So to prepare this necklace for them, they had to collect these seeds, and they had to pierce every seed with red hot needle. And what had happened to the family needle? It had broken. So she had to wait till they could buy another needle. So you can just imagine the situation, girls. Their family was so poor that they could not even afford a simple thing like a needle. Oh, for strings and strings of glass and beads, anklets, earrings, nose rings, bangles, all the gorgeous dazzle of the bazaar. All her little golden body decorated. So she could only picturize, she could only imagine herself decorated or decked up from head to toe with all those ornaments. Chattering as they went, the women followed the dusty track road down the river. On their way, they passed a Gujar encampment of grass huts where these nomadic graziers would live for a time until their animals had perhaps finished all the easy grazing within reach, or they were not able to sell enough of their white butter and white milk in the district, or there was no one to buy the young male buffaloes for tiger baits. So as they were going down, they were following the dusty track down the river. On their way, they passed a Gujar encampment. Now, Gujar is a nomadic tribe, girls, that stays in a place for a short period, and when the grass of that particular land is over, when the animals have finished grazing the pastures and all, they move to a fresh pasture, or they move to a fresh land. Or perhaps a cattle-killing tiger was making a nuisance of himself, they'd move on. Now Sebia glanced at the Gujar women as she went past. And why did she glance? Because these Gujar women, okay, they had a very peculiar way of dressing themselves up. So as Sebia was going with her mother and the other village women, she looked at these Gujar women. They wore trousers like kind of pants, tight and wrinkled at the ankles, and in their ears large silver rings made out of melted rupees. So they were dressed up in a very peculiar manner. Okay, they wore trousers which were tight and wrinkled at the ankles, and as jewelry they wore large silver rings that was made out of melted rupees. And one of them was clinking a stick against the big brass ghadas in which they fetched water or brought water from the river for the camp, to see which ones were empty. The men and boys were out of camp just now with the herd or the group, or gone to bazaar to sell produce. Remember, they used to earn their livelihood by selling milk products. But one or two buffaloes were standing about, creatures of great wet noses. This everyone must have experienced. If you have ever observed a buffalo, the buffalo's noses are always wet. And moving jaws, that means they're always chewing. Their mouth is not still, it's always moving. They're always chewing the fodder. And gaunt black bones. I shall stop here, girls, for today. Tomorrow we shall continue with the story. Kindly go through the story once again. Good day.